Welcome to Financials with Ahau. It's such a privilege to share with you again today as we continue on the Making Wealth series and we focus on the woman in wealth. We build up from our last conversation on the Shunammite Woman, and I love how she features so beautifully in this next conversation. And we look at call to wealth restoration. Stay with me. It's amazing how the story comes out. So we read from 2 Kings chapter 8 from verse 1 through to 7. This is New King James, and I read. The king restores the Shunammite land. When Elisha spoke to the woman whose son he had restored to life, saying, Arise and go to your household, and stay wherever you can, for the Lord has called for a famine, and furthermore, it will come upon the land for 7 years. So the woman arose and did according to the saying of the man of God, and she went with her household and dwelt in the land of the Philistines 7 years. It came to pass at the end of the 7 years that the woman returned from the land of the Philistines, and she went to make an appeal to the king for her house and for her land. Then the king talked with Gehazi, the servant of the man of God, saying, Tell me, please, all the great things Elisha has done. Now it happened as he was telling the king how he had restored the dead to life, that there was a woman whose son he had restored to life, appealing to the king for her house and for her land. And Gehazi said, My lord, O king, this is a woman, and this is her, who Elisha restored to life, her son. And when the king asked the woman, she told him. So the king appointed a certain officer for her, saying, Restore all that was hers, and all the proceeds of the field from the day she left the land until now. Whew. This story is just beautiful. So we go to first, Elisha gives her warning. There's a famine for 7 years. Remember, we had said Elisha was double of Elijah. So during Elijah's time, there had been a famine of 3.5 years. Pull up Elisha, the famine is 7 years. And this woman who has been seen earlier had opened her home, but the inclination of seeing that this was a man of God receives privileged information when you say that leave, preserve your household, because what is going to happen here, you will not be able to survive for the next 7 years. And again, you see the beauty of community and family. She picks up herself, her husband, this son, and they leave. And probably their servants, just whoever will incline to her, and they go together, and they're away for this time period. And then when she comes back, I see such diligence. And that's something I want us to really pick on as women of work. The place of diligence, the place of not just throwing our hands up and saying, whatever happens. The place of, I have this that belongs to me. I am a steward of this. Am I making sure that it is well taken care of? Am I making sure that I am showing up the way I should? And this woman brings herself before the king. And who is God? As she stands before the king, Elisha's servant Gehazi is also standing before the king on another matter, just testifying about Elisha. And she shows up, and the witness is born that indeed she is who she says she is. As in, God preceded her. When she showed up willing to be diligent for what was duly hers, willing to preserve the wealth that had been kept to her by coming back to ask for it, there was a witness waiting. Because literally you see how the scripture flows. Gehazi was already there. So she comes in and, the witness is present to be able to say, I can confirm that indeed she is the one who she's saying she is. And in that moment, not only was it restored to her, but including what had borne fruit from the day she left the land. Meaning, yes, there was a famine, but in the kindness of God, there was still produce on her land. And that was preserved for her, that when she came back, it could be given unto her. And that for me, I see it so profound in how she showed up. It could easily have been said that her husband went to the king, because from the first citation, we did see that the husband was present. But no, we see that she's the one who stood up. She's the one who went to the king. And it is in by no way belittling the place of the husband, to be very different. But it is just to show that she understood her role, and she was able to stand up and say, this belongs to my family. This needs to be apportioned correctly because it was ours. It's a beautiful place to think about it as women of worth, How do we stand up for restoration? The family has gone through a certain struggle financially, and you know where the source of reprieve is. Stand up and go for it. Take the time it needs to prepare. Is it documents? Be diligent in how the documents have been kept. I was having a conversation with a friend over the weekend, and the parents are now pretty senior in their 70s and late 60s, and they've done what they needed to do in terms of building their home, and just living out their retirement. And she told me something that really caught my attention. She said, our father has done the distribution of who gets what is where. And she is actually the one who took us through her parents' space, and she fully understood the land. But our mother is the one who has all the documentation and knows how they have been written out. And it struck a chord with me that this really such a place of presence that this woman has stepped into. Of course, we know it may not have been an easy journey, just as we see even with the Shunammite woman. Like there was periods of different things happening. They were refugees, let's put it that in context today. They came back and they are homeless, and she has to go and say, wait, I had a home, I need it. But there's a place of diligently ensuring that the wealth that was placed in her place is restored as it should be. And I'd invite us to just take a moment to reflect what areas will God, in whatever season you are in your life, show you that you can stand up and reclaim well. You can stand up and say, this is a place of restoration. God, can you do this for me? Can you do this for my family? Can you do this for all that concerns him? Because God is very present to restore what he has given unto us. He is just this time. Thank you so much for listening. Looking forward to our next conversation. It's always a joy to share with you. Thank you. It's a hand.